I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. Just, I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
You just killed a little fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. Yeah, because you got nothing. You got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA boxing.
Welcome to BDA Boxing, the Boston Debate Arena. I'll be your host for today. And yeah, we're going to take phone calls. We're going to invite people on the panel. Not everybody can join today. It's going to be, I think it would be too chaotic. But we are going to let other people in that are not usually in on Discord, I should say. First of all, let's give a shout out to everybody in the chat. We have Rapax Trucking Company. Thank you for joining us. Matcha, of course, Matcha, the one and only. Iceman, Jay Perez, Tony Yayo. Who else do we have in? Iron Fizz, Vladdy V, La Melma 01. And more people here. Sergeant is in there as well. Guys, I think we have a great show today because yesterday we talked about what happened in the fight. We broke it down. Today we're going to be talking about the future of the heavyweight division. More specifically, the future of, well, Usyk and Tyson Fury, because Tyson Fury is now saying that, well, I saw a video, I'm going to play it later. He's calling out Alexander Usyk if the price is right. So this guy is all about the money. I'm starting to dislike this guy just because of the things that he's saying, but at least he's calling out Usyk and, he's open to coming back to the sport if he ever retired, of course. So I want to hear what you guys have to say about this whole thing. Do you think it's going to happen? Do you think Usyk has a chance against Tyson Fury? Please let me know. The phone lines are open. I'm going to be open. Actually, StreamYard is also open. I'm going to be posting the link. But for now, you can see the phone number on your screen. You can call in, and I'll be glad to take your phone calls. Let's see. We have Gonzalo here, and we have Jimmy and Mr. BDA. Guys, what's up?
Hello.
Hello. We also have Gonzalo.
What's going on, brother?
Well, all right, Jimmy, you weren't here last time. Were you?
No, I missed last night's show.
All right, well, let us know what you thought about the fight. And the post-fight, of course.
It's just odd that the one fighter who wasn't complaining about mental illness might be mentally ill. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, fucking seriously. That was an emotional burst, an outlet last night. With you talking about Joshua, that the shit he was saying. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just frustration. Listen, these guys do go through hell. When you go through a training camp, you put yourself through emotional and mental hell. I mean, physical hell, and especially him because he's obviously, there he talks about is it mental? Is he mentally weak? But to complain that he was too big. Mm-hmm. I'm the big guy. I'm at the disadvantage because I'm fucking stronger and bigger. Is probably the craziest fucking argument I've ever heard. It's just frustration. You know what I mean? But Yeah, no, listen, and honestly, I'll say it right now because fuck it, I don't care. Feldman or Friedman, the Glenn or Friedman, yeah, the judge, that's corruption. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's corruption. Listen, under the plant like this, and this is my theory. DAZN and Eddie Hearn going into this fight extended or reworked or whatever they did, a contract with Joshua. There is a business, right? Advancements, I'm sure, were made, promises of a lot of money. Now ask yourself, if it was a repeat of last fight, although this fight was better, Joshua did look better, especially in the beginning when he was moving at the waist and working his jab. But my opinion, and nobody's going to tell me different, that fucking judge, especially his reaction, I don't know if you guys saw him being asked after the fight about, justify your score. And he just said, well, talk to my commissioner. You know what I mean? It was just pathetic. But I believe that whether it was money paid to him or it was one of those, if you like working for DAZN fights, or, you know what I mean? Or, he stayed at the best hotel in Saudi Arabia or whatever. But they wanted... Again, it goes back to the money. DAZN is now invested in him. If it was complete whitewashing, like, the score was, unanimous decision, it is a chink in his armor, without a doubt. Like Steve Kim just wrote an excellent article on this the other day. I put out the other day on Snack. But, and I think it was an insurance policy because going forward, a split decision loss just sounds better. It looks better. And having one judge going to give it to him, regardless of how that fight went, it just looked better because I'll tell you right now, no way can somebody look at that fucking fight who knows the sport of boxing and say Joshua won 7 out of the fucking 12 rounds. That's insane. The cleaner punches, the harder punches, who reacted to him worse. Even when the announcer, that rocked Usyk, and Usyk just looks at the ref and points to his groin. He wasn't acting rocked. They were just trying to, maybe they were trying to sell it too, because let's be honest, is anybody going to save that fight their DVR? Are you going to invite people over someday and say, hey guys, let's watch that, Usyk Joshua 2? No, it wasn't a very exciting fight. It was a tactician type fight where you sat kind of on the end of your seat because you're curious what's going to happen. But at the end of the day, it was not an exciting fight. So that's my whole fucking story on that fight.
For me, it was exciting at the moment, Jimmy? Because it was exciting. Go ahead.
I'm just glad Jimmy brought that point about the referee. It's true. That's why we got to start doing this on this show, man. We started doing it a couple of the last time something really egregious happened, but that's what we got to do. We got to keep these guys accountable. These bad decisions, they shouldn't be happening this way. So yeah, we gotta let people know who's who and who's doing all of this bad decisions. Now, I also want to talk about how last night I was a little bit harsh on AJ because of his post-fight antics. Because listen, the other thing that pissed me off was people making excuses for him, saying, "Oh, he didn't." Would you be happy too if you had put everything you had in your fight and you lost and you ended up coming short? I mean, first of all, that doesn't excuse the behavior. That's number one. Number two, they don't usually bring up the behavior. They just start off with the excuses right away and never mention what he actually said, because he did make excuses by saying that he was too big, blah, blah, blah. That being said, Joshua did come out today, I believe, Instagram post apologizing for his behavior. He said he jumped the gun. He was very emotional. So at least he's apologizing for it. Makes it a little less. I mean, it's still bad, but hey, at least he didn't accuse Usyk of breaking the law.
He acknowledged it. All right, that's cool. That's cool. He acknowledged it.
All right,
sorry, keep going.
We have a super chat from. Hold on here, Leonardo Campos Vasquez. Thank you for your contribution. He says, when BDA isn't hosting, he sounds sleepy. You need some cocaine, man. You need some cocaine. Yeah, I think you're right. But anyways, let's take a phone call here. We have a phone call, 520. You're on the air, 520. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I agree completely with what Jimmy was saying right now. You have to hold the referee accountable. That was just horrible. But in the sense that, Eddie Hearns and Matchroom or DAZN or whatever paid, AJ that, a lot of money. They need him to pay out. They need him to do good. As I said previously I thought that Usyk was gonna knock him down twice. It didn't end up happening. It was a good fight, a good performance. It's just that people don't see it that way for some reason. I did want to give a shout out to Callum Smith. I thought he had a good fight. He's back-to-back knockouts. Now he's the mandatory for Beterbiev. And we don't know how Beterbiev is going to be after the injury because he was just announced that he pulled out due to an injury, and he's already aging, I think 36, 37.
38, yeah.
So by the time he comes back with the injury, we got to see how he's doing. He's going to be a little bit older as well, and we don't know if he's going to face Yard or whatever his name is, or if Callum Smith will be able to do it, or if he's going to want to try to unify with Bivol. Other than that, great performance from Usyk. I knew he was going to win again. Navarrete, I was, a little worried right there because he was losing rounds. And, he has an awkward style, but at the end of the day, he got that, that TKO victory. So good for him. And, I just wanted to give a shout out to the Dominican Republic for getting their champion at 130, I believe.
140,
Garcia?
Yeah.
Or 140. Garcia.
140.
Yeah. So, I mean, good shows all around, had good boxing all day. So, shout out to the panel, everybody. I'm excited for Bam Rodriguez, on September 17, and, hopefully, Canelo gives a knockout.
All right. Well, thanks for your call, and call back again next time, all right?
All right.
Take care. All right, some interesting points there. Guys, don't forget the phone lines are open, and I need to increase my volume. Just give me 2 seconds. Fuck, I don't know how you can boost it up anymore. All right. Mr. BA, let me know if this is okay. All right. What was I going to say here? Guys, the phone lines are open. Don't forget, call in. StreamYard, I'm going to post the link right now. And I was going to say something about what Jimmy said. Jimmy, I thought the fight was exciting, but because AJ was doing better than what a lot of people expected. But would I rewatch this fight again? No, of course not. I don't think it was one of those fights. But I was impressed at the changes that AJ made. What do you think about that, Jimmy? Oh, Jimmy, before you answer that, Iceman, thank you for your contribution. He says, here's a couple of shekels for Coke. Thank you, Iceman. That Mr. BA really needs a Coke right now. Jimmy, what do you think about AJ's performance?
No, he did look better. He looked better the second time. I thought that's why he should be proud with what he did. Listen, it's the fucking that stupid Mayweather Protect O era still just hanging on. It's infected the sport because listen, back in the day, guys lost fights. It was like the UFC is. Guys lose fights in the UFC and they just they get losses. Very seldom the guys fight the whole career with a loss. But think about it. Sugar Ray Robinson had 18 losses. I mean, guys lost back then because they fought a lot. You fought a lot of good guys, but that's the reason why fights aren't being made because, the only way I'm going to lose my I have to get fucking a bricks truck delivered at my house. So, yeah, if this was a different era, he'd have been pleased with last night's performance. Why? Because he looked better than he did the first time. In anything in life, whether you get laid or whatever, if you do it better every time you do it, right? If you get better at it, that's an achievement. So, in a normal boxing era, he would have been like, I'd look better. He'll watch the tape and say I look better. And he's only became, now this is the important thing, he's a much better boxer now. Believe me, when you fight someone like that, you become better. Because you just, now think about if he was to fight somebody, anybody else, name any other heavyweight, how slow they'll look, how fucking prodding, how on the fucking line their head will be. So he's a better boxer for it. The key is get it out of his head, realize he made progress. He had no time to look like he was ready to go out like he did in the first fight. So it looked like his conditioning got even better. Yeah, so he should be proud of him. He's still the second best heavyweight, active heavyweight, because we still don't know about Tyson Fury. And he still has a very viable career. They didn't need to fucking grease Judge.
Yeah.
For that. He still, just off his own performance, what he did, he made he made some fucking changes and it worked out well for
Jimmy,
him. I hope he stays in the game.
But why did he make those changes? It was because of the loss. So the first loss helped him make some changes. Now, he didn't win the rematch, but he looks like a much better boxer now. So, good boxer is going to use a loss and use it to his advantage. These other boxers that protect their zero and fight nobodies, they're making the same mistakes, but they're good enough to still win. But then when they finally step up and fight somebody that's, where they actually have to, it's a competitive fight, they just don't make it. And people start to wonder, wow, how did this happen? Well, because the guy wasn't being tested, right? And AJ, he took a loss, 2 losses now, but he looks much better. I think he knocks out fucking Wilder. I always said he knocks out Wilder. I still think he would not. I think he's a much better chance of knocking out Wilder even now. He looked
better chance now
that guard
than before. Even a better
up.
Chance now because of those 24 rounds he fought with Usyk. Absolutely.
Yeah, the way he moved his head and everything, he just looked much better, man. Let's take a phone call.
Much better.
917, you're on the air. 917.
Attention, BDA boxing fans. Now that Usyk, the Ukrainian warlord, has defeated the Nigerian king, will he go on to fight the Gypsy King? Or will the next episode reveal that Vegeta will come back and kill them all?
All right, we have the Dragon Ball. Are you doing a Dragon Ball thing? Or the announcement? I don't know.
No, I am from Planet Namek. But...
All right, we get it, man. There's a background noise there, but thank you for calling. All right, man. All right. That's a good point. A good call. What's gonna happen? That's the whole point of the show, guys. What's gonna happen in the future? So, Jimmy, Tyson Fury came out with a video. Actually, let's just play it. Let's play it now so everybody can understand what the fuck I'm talking about. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds. There we go.
For the second time to Usyk.
Hold on. Let me just boost the volume. All right.
Hi guys, Tyson Fury, aka the Gypsy King. I just seen Joshua lose for the second time to Usyk out of his depth. However, England has been relieved of its belts yet again, as usual. But there is a remedy and a solution that I can suggest. If you want those belts back, then send in the Gypsy Barbarian of England. Come on! Send me in. I will relieve the Ukrainian Dosser of his belts like I did the last Ukrainian Dosser. But it's not going to be cheap. If you want the best, then you've got to pay. It's going to be very expensive. So get your fucking checkbook out, and I will relieve that Ukrainian Dosser of them belts.
All right. I don't know if you heard that, Jimmy.
Oh, I heard it clear.
All right.
Thursday.
Your thoughts?
It's just the one thing I take away from this with Fury is other than Dillian White. All the years combined, months that he's been a heavyweight champion, he just never defends it, and he's always with the retirement. I'm not retired. I can't stand that shit. I can't stand those kind of games. The I'm retired, I'm not retired bullshit. But it's the sudden, it's like everybody's got short-term memory loss. Everybody acts like there wasn't a collective groan by the entire boxing community when they announced Wilder Fury 3, because nobody wanted that fight. There was no need for it. It was a waste of fight. It's just funny how at the end of the second fight, when he stopped him, nobody was saying this is the fucking best. He's punched just ticket in the Hall of Fame. It was like, oh, he's got to do some more things. Yes, he went on to beat Dillian White. Dillian White's a domestic level fucking guy. I've never been overly impressed, but it is what it is. But you can't walk away from the fucking sport when there's somebody like Usyk and try to claim that. Try to say like, oh, I've already guaranteed, this and that. I don't know. I just don't think he would be doing himself, and definitely not his legacy, any favors if he was to bail. At the same token,
he has no choice.
It'll be a harder fight than Joshua just because of his height.
Are you saying he has no choice? Like he has no choice.
Well, he has a choice. I mean, he obviously has a choice. He can just sit back with all his millions now and just chill.
No.
But I'll tell you right now, he will regret it. Even himself, he'll regret it because every athlete does. He'll regret it when he's finally too old to come back.
Jimmy,
When that morning you wake up and you realize, even if I want to, I can't. My body, like what happened to Figueroa last night. His body betrayed him. Once you reach that age where now you don't have the choice, your body's not going to allow it. That's when the regret starts. That's when you fucking go to bed every night thinking about it. I should have fought him.
Jimmy,
because athletes just do that.
Before the regret kicks in, I think a fan outrage is going to happen, though.
Yeah, so he always got a choice, but he's the only one that can make that difference because that's the heavyweight champion. That's the only person in the world that can unify and fight for all the marbles. There's nobody else on the planet that can make that decision and take that choice but him.
Yeah. Hey, Gonzalo, by the way, you sound like muffled or something. I don't know if you're on speaker or something, but I don't know if you can fix that.
Okay, let me see. Sorry, I need to connect.
That's okay, man. All right. Yeah, that's true. I mean, listen, it's up to Fury. But the thing is, I don't know. I think the fans would be completely or extremely pissed off, I should say. If
of
Fury,
course.
I mean, the fans.
Yes.
And can Fury just go about his life with all these fans on social media, calling him out for not fighting Usyk? Yeah, I don't think he would be able to, because he's the people's champ in a way, right? He wouldn't be the people's champ anymore if he doesn't want to fight Usyk.
And then it's also depriving us of a unification at heavyweight. When's the last time that even happened?
We're so close. We're fucking close.
Decades, right? I mean, decades. And that was it wasn't even in. There hasn't even been one in the 4-belt era, if I'm not mistaken, has there?
And am I coming in okay?
It's a little bit of a hiss, dude. No, it's not like it's muffled. It's like as you talk, there's a hiss accompanying your voice.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I got a little bit of a lisp like Mike Tyson, I think. I'm just kidding.
No, it's some fucking sound.
Let me see.
Yeah,
okay. What we got to watch yesterday, there's a lot to glean from that. It's a very winnable fight, man. I know Usyk's a tough fighter. You get an inch, he'll take an inch, and that's why it was hard for Anthony Joshua. But Tyson Fury is a large man, and he's more fluid. Right or wrong?
Yeah. More fluid, yes. Of course.
Absolutely.
All right. Hold on. Let's take a phone call here. Maybe somebody has a different opinion. 914. You're on the air, 914.
What's up, guys? It's Fernando here from New York.
Yo, what's up? What's on your mind?
Fernando.
Listen, man, I'm not giving anybody a pass here, but all these fighters that only fight once a year, they always say things in between these long, delays. Like, they always keep their name in the media. So, like, with Anthony Joshua, it took his last fight was around, September, August, and then, this fight is September, August. Eddie Hearn kept saying, next week. And then he got Anthony Joshua. He's playing, some type of 90-day fiancé thing where he's touring the globe for a boxing trainer. And even that news, they semi-needed a press conference for that. I haven't finalized the trainer yet. So I'm not mad at Fury for retiring and unretiring and retiring and unretiring because, I only care about the once the opening bell rings. I got an app on my phone called Ring Walks. I don't know if you guys use that. But I don't really care for the ring entrances and all that stuff. You think I'm going to care about what he says in the media in the in-between time before he fights? I really only care about the announcement. In Tyson Fury's case, you just got to listen to Bob Arum. All the heavyweights have been the same amount of active. They don't fight that often. So how am I going to get mad at him retiring and unretiring? I can't because they all say oh, I'm going to get a fight date soon. Oh, 2 months pass, 3 months pass, 4 months pass. They always have some type of excuse, like a political excuse, some type of fight venue date excuse, a promotional excuse, injury excuse. These guys act like a lot of professional athletes in other sports don't have injuries. If you look at professional football, by the third week, everybody's injured already. But, the show's got to go on, right? So I don't know. What do you guys think?
What do you guys think?
Absolutely, he's retired. He's retiring and unretiring so many times that he's still fighting as often as anybody else. So he just got us on a roller coaster ride when it comes to his emotions. But he's no different than anybody else.
Retired nowadays.
What's that?
I'm saying like every fighter's semi-retired, right? Especially once they win a championship belt, they only fight like sometimes over a year, like 13 months, 14 months. Crawford, his last fight was how long ago? And we're still waiting on his, so they're all doing the same thing to us, except with Tyson Fury is coming straight from his mouth. You look at Spence Crawford and Steven Espinoza and what's the other guy's name? I forget the other guy, the promotional guy, but they keep jerking fans around with all these fight dates. So I'm not particularly. I'm mad at the sport of boxing for doing this shit. I'm not particularly mad at Tyson Fury. They all do the same thing. Well, look at Deontay Wilder. They said, I think Shelly Finkel said he's not fighting Robert Helenius, right? And then the announcement comes out that he is fighting Helenius. You can't believe any of these guys, man. You can't believe any of them. They always say one thing and take it back. They always do that.
But isn't there a difference when a boxer says, I'm retiring, and then a few days later, I'll fight this guy if they pay me this amount?
Yeah, but he's always been a troll. Like, he came in a Batman costume for, like, a Klitschko press conference. So, like, I can only take you as serious as you present yourself. I'm not going to hold you to your word.
Why do you think he's trolling? Why do you think he's saying that he's going to retire and then not retire? What's the point of that?
He looks dumb. But Bob was dismissing everything he was saying. You got Bob's a credible guy in the box. Well, I mean, he's also a guy that says yesterday I was lying, today I'm saying the truth, right? So listen, man, I don't know. I don't listen to any of them. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. You just got to take it with a grain of salt. But now, no. So now he has an incentive to come back. You know what it is?
Money.
Anthony Joshua did Tyson Fury's homework for him.
You're right. Tactically speaking, you seen the blueprints out?
It's 100% out, man. And the good thing about Fury is you don't match Usyk step for step. Okay, you're gonna zap. Or if you're a heavy guy and you're trying to dance with Usyk, it's all wrong. You gotta flick. Yeah. So Tyson Fury has like a variating jab. He's got a charge jab, which he kind of like refined with Sugar Hill. Like he steps forward and he throws a jab with authority, right? And that negates the other guy. He also has a flicking jab. So when Usyk's doing all this moving around, Tyson Fury can somewhat be stationary and just do that little flick, that little, I don't know what he is, like a slapping jab where like he opens his glove or to get that length. And he could match Usyk in wittiness. He's not going to match him in footwork. Nobody's ever going to match Usyk in footwork. But you could compensate with other things that you have in your arsenal.
All right. Well,
the opening of the glove, that's where the fucking glove gate come in. He's the Slapsy Maxi Rosenblum extending that arm, fucking just jabbing that. He's a large dude.
That's what you got to do to Usyk.
You're saying that this is a great point. You give Usyk an inch, he'll take an inch. But this guy is large. He's a big dude, right?
Yeah. I mean,
when you lean on him, you got to tower over him. You got to put him in a. You got dirty, man. You got to make it rough and rough.
All right, caller, we got to move on, but thanks for calling, all right? Call back again next time. Take care.
Always a pleasure, guys. Sorry for the rant.
All right. Let's take another phone call. Wild card 111. Is this MMA? Who's calling? Yo, you're on the air. Going once, going twice.
Yo. You hear me? You hear me?
Yes, MMA. Go ahead.
All right. What's going on? King Bucho, I know you lost your money.
No, I didn't lose all the money. I said it yesterday. I hedged my bet. I lost 23% of everything I bet. That's not bad.
You still lost some. Okay,
I lost a bit, yeah.
Right, you still lose at the end of the day. Okay,
Anyways.
But let's move on. Right, I think Tyson Fury, like you can't take his words we'll have to take it with a grain of salt. And at the end of the day, right? Listen, Tyson Fury, he fought a bum in Wilder, and he fought him 3 times. So we can't really take him, too serious. How is he going to be, the Hall of Fame, the greatest heavyweight ever? And he only has like one title defense, 1 or 2 title defenses. Like, come on, that's ridiculous. That's disgusting. And I think right with Fury and Usyk, I think Fury can beat him like AJ was doing. AJ was being dirty, rough, throwing low blows. I'm not gonna lie, AJ did throw low blows. He was roughing him up. But Fury, he's 6'7", 6'8", whatever, and he's bigger, stronger. I think he's going to lean on Usyk, get really dirty, and I think that's how he's going to win the fight. Maybe even stop Usyk, because we saw Usyk can get hurt. We saw AJ hurt Usyk multiple times in the 9th round, almost stopped Usyk. But yeah, I think if not, the fight doesn't happen. Like we saw Herkovich and Zhang was for the IBF eliminator. I think Usyk might fight the winner, which is Herkovich. In the meantime, a shout to Joshua, and I think he should continue, maybe fight Chisora, Zhang. He still has some options. Maybe the winner of Wilder and Helene. I think he sparks out all these guys. He looks way better than he did in the last fight. And first of all, Usyk is better than a lot of these guys. And fighting a guy like Usyk, you really have to push yourself harder than fighting the other guys in the divisions. So I think AJ beats a lot of the guys. But peace out, and my condolences to you, King Bucho, for losing your money.
All right, thanks for calling. A good point. A good point about
Bucho.
What's that?
That's an excellent point from MMA.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm surprised MMA made a good comment here about AJ. Listen, AJ was impressed. Again, I was impressed by his performance, and he beats a lot of heavyweights. I think almost all of them except Usyk and Fury. I mean, we'll see about Joe Joyce. I mean, that's a close fight, but yeah, impressed with AJ. Yeah, let's take a phone call. Then
but at the same time, styles makes fights. Style makes fights, right?
That's
There's
true.
a difference.
Let's not forget about styles makes fights, though. 650. You're on the air. 650.
So I think that guy Fernando from New York, whoever, he was on the money about Fury. You just got to take it with a grain of salt. And I think personally he would beat any heavyweight out. I think he beats Usyk. I think what Gonzalo said about the fluidity, Tyson Fury is very fluid, and I think Usyk's just going to have to do way too much work. And that was the first time I've seen Usyk really tired. And I know he was tired because he was fighting a bigger man, just because Joshua came at him a certain way and was big. And Fury's going to be the same way, if not more, because he's fluid. And that's just going to really tire Usyk out. And, but Usyk did catch his second win in that 10th round. And I think he was waiting for that. Like, he was letting that onslaught from Josh. He was smart. And then he caught his second win in between rounds and then won the last 3. But I don't think he'll be able to do that with Fury because of his fluidness.
Right. Well, that's the thing, though. It's a different, like Gonzalo said, styles make fights. And yeah, I was also impressed with Usyk. I mean, he managed to get his second win. AJ didn't have a second win, and also I think that was a big part. It played a big part in AJ losing, because I think he was doing pretty good, but he got super fucking tired there, like always. And his legs, he looked stiff again. He looked like the old Wilder. Once you get tired, you revert to whatever your natural style is, you know. And that's what I said. All the game plan went out the window, and he became the old AJ. He lost, like you said, 3 rounds in a row. I mean, hey, caller, anything else?
I would really, really like to see Wilder versus Joshua. I don't know why. I think it's a good fight. I want to see it. It's a 50-50 fight.
I agree. That would be an interesting fight. Let's hope that happens, and let's hope that we get Usyk versus Tyson Fury. All right, caller. Thanks for calling. All right, call back again next time. Take care.
Yeah, big deal. Later.
Yes,
Bucho,
go ahead.
I don't know if you got another call or not, but you can't make super fights all the time. So you gotta like fight in between, like Julio Cesar Chavez. You have to have like these tune-ups. Is that what's the problem? Because if you're talking about making super fights 2 times a year or more, that's difficult.
Listen, when it comes to AJ, there's moments. AJ just had 2 fights with Usyk. If he wants to have a tune-up, I wouldn't be complaining. Like, absolutely not. I think he deserves tune-up if he wants to continue in the sport, which I think he does. So yeah, I wouldn't be one of those guys complaining about that. Let's just read 2 super chats here. Dennis F from Dennis F Boston. He says Fury retirement was to take shine away from AJ Usyk talk. Yeah, that's what a lot of people were saying. Fury comes out with these videos, these social media videos, right before the AJ Usyk rematch. So he wants attention. It reminds me of Floyd Mayweather. Every time Canelo would fight, he would come out with videos, a week before the fight. So yeah, it's attention whore type of behavior. Let's just read another super chat. Frankie Sainz, thank you for contribution. He says, yo, at the end of the day, he's talking about MMA. MMA has to stop saying at the end of the day. It's getting fucking annoying. We have a lot of phone calls here. So Jimmy and Gonzalo, do you want to say anything before we take those calls?
All right. Take the phone calls.
Let's take the phone calls. 951. Jimmy.
Okay.
Go ahead. Jimmy.
Oh, no, I just, did you guys talk about all the other fights, or are we going to do that later?
We'll do that later.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
okay. I didn't know if you guys already talked about them. That's why. No, I didn't know if you guys talked about them last night. There was a lot of fights last night.
Yeah.
All right. Take them calls,
baby. Let me write it down. All right. 951, you're on the air, 951.
Boom, boom, guy. LDBC.
Yo,
what's going on?
Up? Not much. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I just want to say a bad year for Eddie Hearn, man. Both of his cash cows came up short. But this is the best year of boxing ever. I mean, it's going to be hard to top this year of boxing. But let me speak on to AJ losing. Yeah, he messed up a big money fight because we all know AJ versus Fury was the biggest fight to be made. I mean, that would have been one of the best boxing matches to ever held. I think it would have done over 1 million pay-per-views. That's me just speculating how big it was. But Usyk Fury is still a good fight, but a lot of people know, true boxing fans know, that Usyk is too small. I think one of the callers said it yesterday. AJ doesn't know how to use his size, or he doesn't use his size. Tyson Fury is king of using his size. He did it against Wilder. The only thing, Wilder couldn't win on points if his life depended on it. He was just looking for a knockout. So Usyk, I think he does better than Wilder, but it's going to be the same result. I think Usyk actually gets knocked out by Fury. And AJ versus Wilder, I think it's the same thing. Wilder's never going to win on points. He's just going to try to knock Anthony Joshua out. If it goes to 12 rounds, obviously Wilder loses.
All right.
So, that's all I had to say.
All right. Well, thanks for calling. Boom, boom. Call back again next time. All right. Take care.
Peace.
All right. Let's take another phone call. 973. You're on the air. 973.
Hey, what's up, guys? I just want to give a couple quick thoughts about Usyk Fury, and then real quick about the fight last night. I had Usyk winning a decision but getting robbed, so I was close to that. But I'm glad he didn't get robbed. I'm happy to be wrong. This is Thane, by the way. But I was surprised by a couple things. I don't know. Usyk seemed off for some reason. He seemed a little more flat-footed, and that takes nothing away from AJ. Made some pretty good adjustments, and I was saying that he's better than everyone thinks anyway. But yeah, that was a good fight, and I was surprised by just, in general, some of the things they did. But anyway, Usyk Fury. I actually think, and I've been saying this for a while, I think AJ is a worse matchup for Usyk than Fury. And I know everyone's saying, Fury's big. He knows how to use his size. He can box. He moves good too. But what did Fury? Who did Fury move great against? Did it against Wilder. That dude trips over his feet when he's standing still. You know, I don't think people remember what Wallin did to Fury for 5 rounds or so till he gassed out. I mean, I just can't see what has Fury done in other fights that he's going to be able to do against an extremely mobile Usyk, who's this time fighting for undisputed. Like, this is it. This guy is going to show up for that fight, and I just don't see how Fury's going to be able to just lean on him the whole time. He's not nearly as fast enough. I just don't see it, man. I think people are seeing Fury move against slow guys. Anyway, sorry. Go on.
Caller, when have we seen Fury fight a mover?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and when
we don't
Fury
know. We don't know.
I mean, earlier in his career, he fought what's his name? I was just watching the fight the other night. Cunningham.
Ryan
no,
Jennings.
Not Cunningham. What's it Cunningham? Yeah.
No, he never fought. Fury. Yeah.
He
Fury.
fought a former recruit. I can't. I'm bad with names when it's the older fights. But,
yeah, Cunningham. Yeah.
You know, my point is, Cunningham. Yeah. My point is simply the pace that Usyk and Joshua put on in those 2 fights. I can't think of any heavyweight fights in recent memory with that pace. AJ can freaking crack. He's probably maybe the second hardest puncher behind Wilder, maybe third, fourth, doesn't matter. I don't know, man. I just have a feeling from what I've seen that the pace Usyk can put on and the movement will almost totally negate Fury's jab and grab technique, and then he'll be forced to actually box, and I think people will see the difference in their skill.
All right. Well, great points. Call back again next time, all right?
Yeah, be well, guys. Good stuff.
All right, take care. Yeah, interesting points. I want to touch upon one of the points he made here later on. Let's just take one more phone call for now. 731, you're on the air at 731.
Hello? Yeah.
Yes. Yes, go ahead.
All right, man. I agree with everything that Carl was gonna say, and I hate to be saying what I'm about to say, but he took every point I was gonna make. Man, I don't see this fluidity or whatever everybody's saying with Tyson Fury, man. You know, he can move for a guy his size. You know, I like the jerky style he uses and everything, but he's not hard to hit. He's too big. I would say that. And I think I think Fury knows it would be easy for Usyk to hit him. Like, Usyk is not Dillian White. Dillian White throws wild hook punches. Usyk is not Deontay Wilder. He throws stupid wild hook punches. And those punches are easy for Fury to see coming. So I think Fury is probably, besides Usyk, probably the smartest heavyweight when it comes to boxing. He has the biggest IQ when it comes to boxing. Him and Usyk. And man, I think it'd be a good fight, but I do think that Fury will lose on points. And it's sad that, in my opinion, it's sad that everybody thinks that, in a sense, Fury has to use a wrestling move to beat Usyk, and that's just laying down. But you can use that though. And Anthony Joshua lost that fight on his own. It was an embarrassment because that dude is too big to be trying to get into a boxing match with a guy like that. And to me, I think he did better by going to the body. But all he did was what everybody on YouTube told him to do. And I'm sure Usyk seen those same videos of everybody saying, go to the body. Everybody said it. And, man, it just seemed like AJ seems to be a follower to me. He follows what his opponent does. He followed Usyk the entire fight. He didn't impose himself on Usyk. He just went with what Usyk gave him. And I don't know. I think it'd be a good fight with him and Fury.
All right, but you have Usyk as a favorite. All right, that's interesting.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, caller, we gotta move on, but thank you for calling. All right. Take care.
Thank you, man.
All right. Before we go back to the phone lines, first of all, like Mr. BDA is saying in the chat, please hit the like button. We have like 235 people listening and only 84 likes. Only 84. Come on. Let's step it up, people. Let's make BDA great again. People
Yeah. Hey, Mucho, I know this is annoying, but I'm testing my audio. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound perfect. All right. Guys, I have a question for
thanks.
you.
Much better.
Jimmy
Much better.
Gonzalo. Jimmy
Wonderful.
Gonzalo. The callers are saying that Fury, he moves. Some say that, he looks like he's really fluid in the ring, but he's fighting other slow heavyweights. Now he's going to be fighting a guy like Usyk, who's a former cruiserweight. And I want to ask you this, guys. Fury has been weighing in at around 270 pounds in those two Wilder fights, right? In the last two fights. I guess that worked against Wilder, but is 270 pounds too much when you fight a guy like Usyk?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense, right? Can he lose that weight, though? It seems to me like he said, I feel great at this weight. I'm like, oh, okay, well, is it a tactical decision here, or is that going to be your weight for now on? Like, it's too heavy.
Well, did he really look great against Wilder in the third fight? I mean, why? That was a couple of fucking... Wilder missed by like 2 inches from ending that fight. Let's be honest. Remember, there was a couple of times, man, he just missed. You know what to put him away because they were bombs. And it was because he wasn't getting out of the way. The first and second fight, it was the feints, in and out, jabbing. He wasn't in that kind of condition. He was in there just trying to lay him out. But he was breathing through his mouth hard by the fourth round. So, yeah. I think he'd be crazy to come in that heavy. And I'm not saying drop 30 pounds. I mean, but he'd be smart to come in around whatever his lightest has ever been, because it's going to be movement he's going to need.
Stamina. And by the way...
he's never fought anybody like Usyk with that kind of footwork.
Jimmy.
Yes.
What if he doesn't move a lot, but he just holds you off like kids playing and just slaps you from right to left with one hand? Like child's play. Boom, 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 boom. Like you're nothing because I'm big.
Usyk... Yeah, but Usyk's too strong for that. Usyk's stronger than people realize.
He's a strong dude, huh?
Usyk's gonna be on the back foot,
cat.
obviously. Yeah,
you can tell, dude. You can tell by his back and his joints. He's a strong dude.
I mean, it's gonna be a fight where Fury's gonna be chasing Usyk, right? I don't see any other way how this fight can play out. Like, what's Usyk? It's not gonna be AJ versus Usyk. Like both guys standing there in the middle of the ring. I think Fury's gonna be chasing Usyk.
Of course.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Usyk's not going to try to engage with him for the first 4 or 5 rounds until he takes, 30% off his punches, his sting off his punches. And remember, Fury was never a knockout artist. He just, started, getting up over the front of his feet and laying on his punches. But again, doing that against Wilder and doing it against Usyk are two different fucking beasts, Wilder's a power puncher, a knockout artist. He didn't worry about that other stuff, the stuff that Usyk does to beat you. All the intelligence that Usyk possesses to beat you, Wilder doesn't have. So you better think of a different way.
I think Fury was getting
when you said that, Jimmy, that he's a strong man, I realized that now all of a sudden, but not that I forgot, but because of the performance last night. That's why I'm thinking that performance left a lot to be desired. That when you saw how they fought for the first 9 rounds, why couldn't they go bigger? Why couldn't they throw more of a... We've seen many heavyweight fights throughout the years. A lot of people, like myself and you, and like the people on the chat have. There's something that was missing, that if you compare that fight to other fights, it was a strategical fight, I understand. But not a lot of big punches were being thrown.
Yeah. All right, guys. Let's take more phone calls here. 562, you're on the air. 562, you're on the air.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Hey, I'm Tom. I called the 4th round TKO Joshua knockout prediction. Damn, did I butcher that one? Fucking hell.
Yes, Tom. I see it there. Shame on you. Shame on you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Damn, did I get that one wrong? I just, looking at Joshua, I was impressed. He was better. But when you see what he did in that 9th round, chasing Usyk down, just unloading, I was like, you should have done that earlier, man. Even if he would have gassed out.
Wow.
That's that stupid emotional reaction afterwards. I think he got into like a argument with Loma for a second in the ring as well. I don't know if I saw that right, but going over to like Tyson Fury versus Usyk, you guys see that up jab that Usyk kept catching him in the chin with. that will just keep splitting Fury as well, in my opinion, even though he's a much taller guy. You know.
Maybe, I don't know.
The boogeyman of this whole thing now.
Yeah, I'm still having issues imagining the height difference between Usyk and Fury and how that's going to look in the ring.
But then, like, Usyk's body shots to Fury, I'm very curious to see how that will play out. And like you guys are just saying, how Fury looked terrible in that third fight. Well, not terrible, but not as good as he could have in that third fight against Wilder. Yeah, I just see Usyk just playing into that card and just slowly wearing him down as well.
It's wearing down who? Who? I'm confused.
I see Usyk wearing down Fury.
Oh, whoa. Fuck, man, maybe. Shit,
I think just body shots and just stay in the middle of the ring, let Fury dance around you. If he's going to play that card, just break him down slowly.
Yeah. You know, let me just say this about the Fury dancing around. When was the last time we saw him dancing around?
First Wilder fight.
When he got put on his ass in the 12th round against Deontay Wilder.
Yeah.
On the first fight.
That's it. Because the Wallin and the Schwartz fights, he didn't dance that much in that ring. And then the Wilder.
What did he do with Wallin? Did he? Well, Wallin was the worst fight I've ever seen him in my opinion.
Well, he had that cut.
I don't remember his style for that one. Was he more back-footed?
No, it was just like they were both really close on the ropes, and it was the dirty type of fight. Like, it looked disgusting. But that was because Fury, he had that cut. So he said he had there was a sense of urgency because they could stop the fight at any moment. So yeah, he stepped it up. That's what he said. But anyways,
what I've been thinking all morning is, okay, Fury Usyk fight. Let's say Usyk gets all the belts. Wilder's fighting in October. Again, they're fighting for the WBC belt now, aren't they?
I don't know.
Am I right?
Not sure.
Like, I'm just trying to think how this is going to come together. How, if Wilder gets the WBC in October, can he fight Usyk? Or
I don't know
if Fury comes back again, you know?
Right. I don't know if he's going to... we have to wait and see what Fat Suleiman has to say about that.
I guess they're calling it an eliminator. That's what I heard, a rumor. I don't know if that's true. Yeah. I don't know where I picked that up, but Wilder versus Helenius might be a WBC eliminator, because if they just like dub it if they make it a vacancy fight, like whoever wins this fight gets this belt, that'll be shady as fuck. Well, especially coming off 2 consecutive knockout losses.
Nobody cares. Sorry, WBC doesn't care.
Wilder cruiserweight now? Or is he still a heavyweight?
Heavyweight.
He's still I thought he was going down to that stupid Bridgerweight shit.
Well, not against Helenius. Because Helenius is not eventually, maybe. I think you're right. I think Wilder said eventually he might be interested in that Bridgerweight title. But who knows?
Sure.
Caller, we gotta move on. Thank you for calling, alright, man? Take care.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, I wanted to say, Bucho, Jamie's coming in crystal clear, like he's right next to me. He's sounding awesome.
All right, that's good. Good.
Thank you, brother.
All right.
Yeah, you know how the Bible says the truth it'll cut through the fucking marrow. It just sounds so fucking like clear.
All right. Let's take a phone call. 214. You on there? 214. Yes.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on the air.
Yeah. I wanted to say that, I felt like this was one of Usyk's toughest fights. I felt like he really had to dig deep in this one. And I thought, like, man, even in those rounds that he was winning, like 10, 11, 12, he was still getting hit with some hard shots. But Anthony Joshua, I want to say this about Anthony Joshua. I think his losses are making him a better fighter. Because before, when he was fighting guys like Povetkin or Ruiz, he was built like a bodybuilder. If you look at him now, he's getting his boxing is getting better. His shot selection. Even though he's stiff, he's still getting better as a fighter. So I think that he's definitely going to be a champion again.
Yeah,
and that's what Usyk. I think he's on the.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you can go. Oh, Usyk, I think he's somewhere on the downslide, man. I think like he's 35. the Usyk that fought Anthony Joshua before, he's way better. I think Usyk is slowly getting. He's on his. He's going down. He's on the downside of his career now. This was a very tough fight, for Usyk.
Interesting. Usyk on the downside. That's a interesting point.
Yeah, it's true because he's got to be a well-oiled, fine-tuned machine, and that's a lot of pressure on your joints for being a cruiserweight to having to add that weight and having to fire at all cylinders to throw that weight around. Yeah, that's true. I believe so.
We're gonna discuss more about that. Caller, anything else?
I don't know about this Fury fight, but we don't know because I believe you can't trust Fury just like you can't trust Suleiman. We just have to wait to see what happens. And for Wilder, I'm really concerned about him. I don't think he can beat AJ. AJ is really, he doesn't know it because he's frustrated with not getting the victory, but he's really becoming a better fighter. I don't think Deontay Wilder can beat him now. I think his best chance was back in 2018, 2019, when he was a bodybuilder, because he was a bodybuilder.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was much slower. I agree with that. But I've always said that AJ would knock out Wilder, and seeing how AJ fought yesterday, I'm even more confident. But caller, thank you for calling, all right? Take care.
He would.
Oh, yeah. All right, take care.
Bye.
All right, let's take one more phone call here, and then we go back to the panelist on Discord. 386, you're on the air, 386.
Yo, what's up, Bucho, and everybody? Just wanted to make a couple points. Like, this Tyson Fury myth is bullshit. Like, he had a couple good performances, was never consistent. He beat Wilder 3 times. That's all he did. Okay, let me say this. If Wilder that showed up, or if Fury that showed up in the second Wilder fight shows up, then it's going to be a good fight. But besides that, I haven't seen anything from Fury that makes me think he's some unbeatable machine. I've seen Usyk overcome again so many times. And I thought that fight last night, I think they both peaked, AJ and Usyk. I think that's the highest both of them ever got. I rewatched it, and Usyk was like slipping everything AJ was throwing. And it was one of those fights where it was just slow as hell in the beginning, and by the end, they were both exhausted. I mean, both honestly about to be stopped. So I thought it was excellent.
I think this is the best AJ we'll ever see. He can't get any better than this.
I agree.
He can't better than this. Yep. All right, so if Fury fights if Fury fights Usyk, what will happen there?
I think Usyk probably has 2 or 3 good fights. I think Usyk will dance circles around him. I mean, unless you get that Fury that was in the Wilder 2 fight, to me, and this might sound kind of bizarre, I think the only fighter that can beat Usyk is Deontay Wilder if he gets lucky with a fucking huge straight right. That's the only thing I see. Because nobody's gonna outbox Usyk.
No.
I don't care about Fury's size. I still think he will be slow, will be pedestrian, and I think Usyk will be like Manny Pacquiao in there, slipping, throwing combinations, and rolling under Fury. So, I mean, that's my opinion. He's not a small guy. So, I don't believe the myth that Fury's this. He got a little split decision against Klitschko. He's beat Wilder twice. He's done nothing that's been outstanding. But Usyk, like I said, has overcome challenge after challenge, and that's special to me. So that's my point.
All right. Well, anything else?
Well, I just say, Bucho, I definitely agree with you that I think AJ peaked, and I thought he fought great. And I think if you guys watch that fight again, I think Usyk was peaking well. I mean, if you saw him in that 9th or the 10th round, how he came back, he basically had AJ out on his feet, and it turned into a war by the end of the fight. And I definitely agree with you there.
Yeah. Man, I think it was a good fight. I liked it. And yes, both guys peaked. This is the best. What do you think about people who are saying that Usyk is on the decline?
I mean, that's what I kind of thought the first time I watched the fight. I was like, because his footwork in the first fight looked a little better, but then I rewatched it and I was like, no, I think he was just making adjustments. Cause like Bucho, his fight management skills are unbelievable. Like he changes every single round. Like usually you can kind of like boxing is not that complicated of a sport, but I'm looking there at Usyk. And he is doing stuff that's just setting, like, I just don't, it's unbelievable what the guy does, how he manages a fight when he puts how he put the pressure on in round 10. Like, where did that come from? Like, he just, after almost getting stopped, he almost fucking killed the guy.
He has heart.
Yeah, and actually Jackson, he's saying the truth because he might not be a boxer, but I mean he's a California kid that knows how to surf and fucking skate. He knows all about balance, right, Action Jackson? So you know about the footwork. I can pick up that from you.
But yeah.
No, I agree 100%. But thanks, guys. I'll be listening.
All right, take care, man. Action Jackson. Usyk has heart. That's what you gotta say. I mean, a lot of boxers would have probably quit, hit the canvas, taken a knee. Would have taken a knee. This guy was still in there, man, throwing punches. Like he's insane.
And listen, Joshua got hard. I know the adjustment. He was leaning heavy on the front foot, so he wasn't like a pushover this time. But you know where the mental breakdown? It just dawned on me real quick, Bucho. The mental breakdown came because speak it, believe it, receive it, prepare all these months, and you're about that business. But when you still fail, I did everything that I could as a consummate professional, getting into the gym 2 weeks after my last fight, like he did in many of the fights. After he had lost, he's back in the gym again. Yeah, consummate professional. But then that's not enough. And that's why he had that mental fucking breakdown. That's why I don't blame him. I don't pin it on that much to where I'm gonna judge his character because he put his brain through so much that he tried to reach that preparation level to where he was ready, but even being ready wasn't enough to beat the mentally strong great fighter in Usyk himself.
Yeah, Eddie Hearn talked about that, the pressure that AJ has been enduring all this time. What do you think about Jimmy? The pressure.
Well, is that the reason why he did one of the most egregious hammer strikes? I mean, he hammer struck fucking in the 9th round with those body shots. Remember they got tied up about 1:09 left in the 9th round, and he literally fucking didn't even try to mask it. He just put out his hand out and just literally punched him with a hammer strike to the back of his fucking head. And he didn't even get warned. I couldn't believe it. Like, you don't usually see that because that's like, usually a rebel stop the fucking round, take a point. I mean, that's not an accident. Oh, he ducked into it and I caught him in the back of the head or in the midst of he took and he fucking dropped. I mean, what neck? Why didn't he just take an elbow? Throw a fucking elbow down the back of his neck. Like, I couldn't believe he did that. And that was sheer frustration.
And the post-fight reaction, Jimmy, like you talked about it. But I don't know. Some people try to justify it.
Most of the release.
Yeah, that definitely looked like that. I think there's no doubt about that.
Okay, Jimmy. Okay, what about this? It was strategical in the first 9 rounds. It wasn't a great fight, but after the 9th round, it was a fucking a barn burner. It was pretty good. How about that?
No, it was. Oh yeah, it was. Because what it was is like the announcer said it. If you hurt Usyk, if you put it on him, if he knows he lost a round, he comes back and makes you pay. And if you go back in all his fights, anytime someone has a good round against him, he always comes back and usually has his best round. Like, for instance, as good as a round Joshua had in the 9th, the round in the 10th, Usyk's was much better. He was fucking battering Joshua with combos to the head, the body. It was a one. You could have scored that round 10-8. As far as I'm concerned, that's how bad he got it on him.
So it's like giving names, taking names. I'm gonna cash in my receipt. I'm gonna take my receipts back, like they were saying, and that's fucking true, man. He got his round back, and you know what I'm always noticing, Jimmy, when I'm watching the fights, because I'm not there to get like a good perspective. The fans were standing up and they were raising their arms and they were like, So they were living the moment, and for me, that shows something. That if it wasn't exciting for like the first half or the first 9, after that, it was a good fight.
It's good. I'm glad it was a good fight. So those people in Saudi Arabia that don't get to watch a lot of boxing, probably, they got to experience a good fight, and hopefully,
and we're talking about la creme de la creme. So in the first fucking 9 rounds, if it's not that exciting, it'll keep you on the edge of your seat because we know this is boxing at the highest level, right? So if you make a fucking mistake, that could cost you. So that's why it's kind of good, and we can't judge it like any other fight because this is the elite level.
Yeah, and they're heavyweights, and it's a smaller guy fighting a bigger guy. There's a lot at stake here. It's not like one of these boring fights where some guy's on the back foot and they're both in the same weight division, and it's in. Then don't get me started with this fucking style. Let's take a phone call. 747. You're on the air. 747.
Yo, what's up, guys? The fight, I scored it 7-5 Usyk. I thought before the 9th round, it was really close, and before the 10th, that's when Usyk took over. Yesterday, you guys had the post fight show, and Aldo mentioned that maybe she should have just kept his load, right? Not went out for the knockout. But I kind of got the feeling that they both knew that Usyk knows that he has the better gas tank, and Joshua knows that he has the worse gas tank.
Mm-hmm.
So he was waiting for that moment, kind of like a rocket launcher, where, all right, I got him hurt. Now I'm gonna, shoot it and see if I win. So because he knew that he's not going to be able to go the full 12, with the same level of energy, right? So he went for it on the 9th round. He hurt him, and it just didn't. He couldn't knock him out. He couldn't get him down, and that was it. So, what I think about that fight is that the body shots did make a difference. If these big guys, even though you're not able to connect on Usyk's head a lot because he's bobbing and weaving, he's not going to be able to move his body as good as the lighter weight guys. So he's going to be, even though he is moving his head good, he's still going to be there for the body shots. So maybe Fury definitely was happy to see this fight. That's what I think. And what I think that fight is definitely going to be on the hinges is if the ref is going to allow Fury to cheat the way he did with Wilder. Because let's be honest, he was grappling so much in those fights. Is he going to be allowed to do that against Usyk? I mean, who knows, right? Who knows what?
I think Wilder
Arum fucking maybe Bob Arum pays the ref so much money, but I don't know. That's going to be big. Is the ref going to allow Usyk to get hugged and
the thing is, right? I think Wilder allowed himself to get clinched because he was also kind of engaging in the clinch. When Fury came in, stepped in with his punches, Wilder was happy to fucking clinch as well. I don't think it was a one-sided thing. Although I do agree that Fury was using his weight when he had Wilder on the ropes, but that was his tactic. But because of the styles with Usyk, I don't know if he's gonna be able to just grab the guy. You know what I mean? I don't know. Listen,
and then the ring was small too. I noticed that. So it's all these things are gonna play a factor. Not only their abilities, but also whoever is able to negotiate. Because Fury might say, "Hey, man, we're finding a little ring, and we're gonna get a ref that's gonna allow me to fucking maul you. And if we don't got that, you ain't getting no fight. Because at the end of the day, you're an Eastern European. You don't bring no fans to the table, bro. I bring everything. Mm-hmm. That's the reality of the situation. Without Joshua, what fans show up for Usyk?
I don't know. That's a good question.
That's the reality of the situation. Without Fury, what fans show up for Usyk? No one. Mm-hmm. So it's all on Fury, and if the fight happens or not, it's going to be because of Fury, not because of Usyk.
Well, I got to say too, it's really not fair to say that totally about Usyk because his country's at war. It's not like if he went home and had it, they would sell out. They would do 60,000 seats in the capital without a doubt. But they can't.
Yeah, but that's the differentiation of currency, because I don't believe they don't have EU.
They're at war. I mean, yeah.
But you know what? This might sound fucked up, but I'm just being honest in my interpretation. When they say they're fighting for legacy, they kind of know their place. They've always been the underdog in the sense that they're coming to other countries to establish themselves and make a name. They kind of know their place, but he's being humble, but he's already the heavyweight champion of the world. He's already reached the top of the mountain, and he's still being humble, but he knows his role. But in the sense that, what can I do now? What's being offered? But in the sense, I got the fucking belt. That's my fucking my collateral, right? That's those are my chips there that I can say, oh, this is what I have, right? No, he's got 3 belts. He's got 3 belts. Tyson Fury's only got 1 belt.
Probably 0 soon. But anyways, caller, we gotta move on, man. Call back again next time, all right?
For sure. Thank you guys. Have a great show.
Take care. Let's take another phone call. 410. You're on the air. 410.
Hello?
Yo, you're on the air.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey, man.
Yeah, it was a good fight. I could see where Anthony Joshua made some. Well, let me retract that. I wouldn't say it was a good fight necessarily. It was very tactical throughout, and very polite boxing match, if you will. Very, very few times did it really turn into anything resembling a fight. And I get that, I guess, but Joshua, it's clear he made some adjustments. It was a better fight. He did better in this fight. The body work, I think, served him well, and at times made Usyk look a little bit vulnerable. I give Usyk credit for what he was able to accomplish in the fight, but I gotta wonder, that guy doesn't seem to have a lot of power, and I don't know, he's 35 years old, so it's hard to say how much longer he's going to fight anyway, but and the division is kind of weak. So with his boxing skills, he'll probably be all right. But he does seem to lack punch power, or at least he's not one to sit on his punches too much. Against Fury, I gotta favor the Gypsy King, and it's a little disheartening to hear your last caller with that Fury cheated bullshit. I mean, that is just so tired. Fury didn't cheat against Wilder in any 3 of those fights. He really won all 3 of those fights. Did he lean on him at times? Sure he did. Ali was the master of doing that. Fury's a big dude. He's even bigger than Wilder. In the clinches, 9 times out of 10, he's going to be the guy over the top. And if he uses it a little bit to what the extent the ref will let him, well, good. That's what he's going to do. I think Usyk will have a much tougher time getting to Fury, because Fury just a better boxer than Joshua. He knows how to use his reach, and he knows how to clinch if Usyk gets on the inside, and it probably would be a fairly boring fight, I would imagine. But I would favor Fury.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people have Fury as a favorite. Only few people think that Usyk can pull it off. I think Fury wins this fight. I'm not on the fence on this one, though. But Jimmy, you want to say something?
What's that? Oh no, sorry, I was whispering to my dog.
Oh, okay.
I forgot I was off mute.
I want to say something. This man, he got the interesting voice, like Bill Curtis, like from A&E, like one of the most interesting men in the world, like Dos Equis, man.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Caller, great points, man. Anything else?
What's the next big fight? I guess it's Canelo and Golovkin, huh?
No, it's Andy Ruiz versus Luis Ortiz.
Crawford Spence.
Okay, yeah. I wanted to make a comment about Golovkin Canelo. I think this third fight going to be just like the first 2 fights. I know it seems the popular opinion is Canelo is just going to walk right through Golovkin, or he's just going to do a number on it. I don't see it, man. That guy's just, he's too much of a beast of a fighter, and I know that, he's 39, 40 years old at this point, but if you think about it, Golovkin hasn't had a lot of tough fights. He's had 2, 3, maybe tough fights, and he's had plenty of rest since the last Canelo fight. I know he's fought maybe a couple of times, but he's had plenty of rest. He's seems to be an athlete that takes care of himself, and in his last fight against the Asian dude, man, he did good in that fight. I don't know why people underestimated Murata. They thought, you know, he was some bum, but that guy had good size on him at the weight. He was fighting in front of his home country where he's a hero, and he was a tough dude. But Golovkin did to him what he does to everybody. He just kept whacking on him at a very high pace, a very high work rate, and he looked to be in tremendous shape. It wasn't the easiest of fights, now that I think about it, because that guy did land some good body shots, and that guy was in there to fight. But I've seen the same thing from Golovkin that I've always seen. This could be his swan song. I didn't see anything in that fight to tell me he's even close to washed up. And him and Canelo are just even competitors, and so I think it's going to be a straight up war. Maybe better than both the first two fights. And I'm not going to pick Golovkin to win, but you know, I'll be honest with you, I would not necessarily be surprised. And also, you have to factor in that Canelo has been on a hell of a roll, and he's been really, really busy. And you know, I'm an advocate for fighters staying busy, but sometimes you can be too busy. And I think that caught up with him a little bit in the Bivol fight. And you know, coming off of a loss like that, plenty of great fighters have stumbled in the wake of a loss. Now, others like Canelo have gotten better, but at this point in his career, you know, I think that's a little gray area there that may play into this fight a little bit. You know, he may have been too active, moving around too much, jumping up and down, and just fighting, you know, 3 times a year, you know, probably 1 time too much. And I think it's going to be a great fight.
Well, I agree with everything this caller said. Everything except for that one point. If anything, I bet you Canelo would want to fight more.
Well,
That's
but is that good for him, though?
You're better if you're fighting maybe a couple of weeks in between camps, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
I heard Canelo
Medrick
say
Taylor,
not that
after
long ago that
fucking
he's not
Julio
gonna be
Cesar
fighting 3
Chavez
times
fought
a year.
Taylor in that epic war, he fought 6 more times that year.
But Jimmy, maybe
I'm
been
aware,
fighting since
but you know, I heard
2011.
Canelo
He needs
say
to
about
rest,
a
or
month
the rest
ago
did him
that
well.
he's not going to
It
fight
could be one of those things,
3
right?
times a
Hold
year.
on,
Yeah, he's had a lot of rest,
hold on. Everybody's talking at the
Okay.
same time. Everybody's talking at the same time. Sorry, we gotta go one by one.
I wanted a caveat to what the caller said, because I want him to hear me, because he sounds like an interesting person, Jimmy. But the intangibles that Triple G got, that I don't think he's a fucking cakewalk for anybody. He's got the chin and he's got the punch. So where Canelo lacks the stamina, he can't go for fucking broke, because if he can't take fucking Triple G out of there, that dude's gonna be there round after round after round. So you gotta compartmentalize the amount of punch output to distribute that to where if you know that you can't knock that dude out and he's still gonna be there, you can't fucking deplete your fucking gas tank if you're fucking Canelo. So it's one of those things, tit for tat. Considering that Golovkin is a power puncher, and then he can probably take your shots as well and fucking just give his back, just dish back as much as he fucking gives. So Canelo better watch out, because he's a younger man, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he got the greater stamina, even for a guy 10 years his senior. Because where he's putting you with the punching power and the chin, he's putting you a place that you don't like, and it's the pressure. It's the pressure that fucking what's the saying? Yeah, that'll melt you down. It's not the back foot fighters that Trevor Canelo. It's the guys that put the pressure.
Let me just say lastly that I did hear Canelo say about a month ago that he's not going to be fighting 3 times a year anymore. He's going to cut it back to twice a year. Did y'all hear that?
Nope.
No.
Yeah,
I know he told Steve Kim he'd rather fight 4 times a year.
But that was before the people.
Boxing is one of the sports you got to do it a lot to be good. This is the reason why we don't see greatness out of this generation. You don't fight enough. A good, active, in his prime fighter should be fighting 5-6 times a year to achieve greatness.
Yeah, but those same guys oftentimes.
And I stand by that more than any opinion I have on boxing.
All right, caller, one last point.
No, well, you know, the later you go back into boxing and the less they earn, the more they fought. That's true. But those fighters oftentimes fought tons and tons of bombs, and they would rack up a lot of losses. They would have, you know, the average fighter today might have 35, 40 fights in a career on average, let's say. But then they would have, you know, 100, 115, you know, but there'd be tons of bombs and multiple losses oftentimes. There's a price to pay fighting 5-6 times a year, especially if you're training for eight weeks.
But guys are fighting tons of bums now and fighting once a year, and sometimes not even that.
Well, that's true. That's true.
All right.
Well, anyway, that's all I got. Thanks for taking my call.
All right. Take care, man. Good call.
Thank you.
All right.
Jimmy, does it get to a point where a guy's so seasoned and he's just that well-rounded, like a Pacquiao or a Golovkin, and then you've been like on this on the warpath that when you get the breaks, and then all of a sudden that might do you, that might be good for you, as opposed to like hindering you.
Yes, there's times where a fighter just needs a break, right? Needs a rest. Especially it's cumulative wars and damage they take. But as the actual science of fighting, going through training camps, you're always best when you're fighting and you're active and your body's in fight mode. And it's a quick twitch fiber, instinctive game. You're not in a huddle talking about plans, clapping hands and going to stand at the line. You know what I mean? It's fluid. It happens nonstop. It's reactionary. And why do we see great fighters or supposed great fighters in lame, boring boo fests, sloppy fights? Why is the connect ratio across the board has gone down over years past? Because these guys, this ring rust is a real thing. And fighting's the one sport you can't play at. You can't. No, I wholeheartedly disagree with that call. And he made a lot of great points. But activity, Steve Kim says it all the time. It's the black eye of the sport right now, is the inactivity of fighters.
Mm-hmm.
Especially someone like Jason Lee. Sorry,
Gonzalo. No, when it particularly hurts a fighter when he's a counter puncher, because the counter puncher, he got to get the timing down. Yeah, but with Golovkin, I got to analyze that, because what if he puts the rounds in sparring, Jimmy? Like he goes heavy into sparring right now as we speak.
Well, when you're 40 years old, obviously you have to go about things differently. As a 40-year-old, you can't do things and train the same way a 28-year-old can. That's why I was keen to put in a prime fighter, a guy between 26 and 32, or even 34 today. But not somebody 40 years old. Clearly, you can't do that because your joints will get worn out, your knees. Injuries hamper and they stay longer. But I'm saying the reason why Canelo has gotten so much better and has looked so sharp, outside of Bivol, which was a huge ask to begin with, is because he fought a lot. He knew that. I mean, think about it. He's the richest fighter in boxing, the face of boxing. He fucking says how high to, what I mean? I mean, he's the one that says jump. Everybody else says how high. And he's the one fighting more than anybody else. Ask yourself, if he doesn't need it for the money, why else is he doing it? Because he doesn't want to be golfing, banging hot chicks at the beach? No, it's because he fucking knows it'll make him better.
All right, I want to read a super chat here. Paul Artredis, thank you for your contribution. He says, cut Usyk a little slack. Couldn't have been a great camp. He looked fitter on the scales in the first fight. Still got it done. I mean, yeah, he looked good in this fight. He did get tired, but I mean, you also gotta give credit to AJ for how he decided to fight. I don't think anybody's taking away credit from Usyk, and if they are, they shouldn't. It was a great performance by both boxers. Guys, I think we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves talking about the Canelo versus Triple G fight. That's in September. We're gonna be talking more about that in a few weeks. Logical Man is here. If you wanna say anything about what we saw yesterday.
Hey man, well, what I really want to say basically is that AJ, he tried his best, man. He was doing way better than what I expected. I didn't even know that he would make it to the full 12 rounds. Thought he would get knocked out, but it just Usyk, man, he adapted and overcame. He was taking very good punches. Surprised that he was taking those punches, man. He wouldn't go down. But I gotta give flight to AJ, man. It seemed like he kept giving up on the gas. Dude was just going for all bankrupt and just said fuck it. Because after the fight, he was pissed off, he was upset. He threw the belts down and all this. I'm like, man, if you just had all this same animosity in that ring when we did all that, you could have won the fight. And is it just on AJ and that, or can I speak on the whole boxing day?
Yeah, the other boxing, it was great, man. I think that whole heavyweight thing is great. But man, last night was a fucking bar burner in regards to like the different array of fucking fighters, mostly Mexican dudes, some Europeans, because they don't got the fight dates, but everybody brought it because they hadn't been fighting in a while. That they fucking went in there to represent their themselves, to make a
Hold on,
name for themselves, because they haven't been fighting in
one
a
thing,
while, man.
Gonzalo.
A lot of great fights.
One thing, Gonzalo. What I can say to that Navarrete fight, bro. Me personally think Navarrete he's a fucking problem. He's an issue. I don't see people really messing with him. But damn, that fight yesterday, dude, he was losing on the cards. Let's be real. I'm so surprised that it was happening. So I'm like, damn. I want him to fight Shakir, but I'm like, damn. After seeing that, I'm like, oh man. But still, Navarrete's still an issue. You know, of course, he can still stop anybody. The dude got a lot of punch. You know, he put a lot of punches out there. He got a good amount of power.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk, Gonzalo. Gonzalo,
It's
go
one
ahead.
of those things. It's one of those things, Mucho. It's like Murata versus Golovkin. This is not a 4-round fight. If you're gonna fucking string your punches together and you're gonna go for the kill, and you ain't getting that dude out of there, that's just gonna be there after the 4 fucking round, 5, 6, 7, 8. Can you hang with that dude when that dude brings it? Yeah, you're gonna look good and you might be losing, but are you setting yourself up to get fucking knocked out? In the end of the day, if he's stopping you and it doesn't go to the cards, it doesn't matter if you're fucking losing like Canelo was to Amir Khan, or like Murata possibly was winning against fucking Golovkin. He's gonna break you because you're fucking operating in a pace that you cannot dominate when you're not getting that dude out of there. He's gonna come get you.
All right, Jimmy, you want to talk about you want to talk about
I just wanted to
yesterday's
say.
fight? Yeah, go ahead.
What's that, brother?
You want to talk about
No, I
yesterday's
just wanted
fights?
to say.
Yes. Go ahead, Jimmy.
What's that?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that, man. No, I just wanted to say, not Liam Smith, but the Smith boy. Was it
Callum.
the Smith boy? Callum Smith. Fucking stopped another dude. I mean, I guess he's not as, he doesn't look as, that win isn't as aging badly. I thought people labeled him a bum. He definitely did nothing to try to win against Canelo, but I don't think he's as bad as people say he is. In fact, right, he might even be a mandatory now for Beterbiev. But I wanted to say it was just sad to see. It's not like I'm a big Figueroa fan, but it was kind of sucky. It felt bad for the kid. It felt bad for anybody, like a fighter who puts in a good camp. He said it was his first time he's ever happy in a camp. He's got a fucked up relationship with his father, and but to see his body betray him, like it was so obvious. I gotta say, I don't know why his father waited the extra 4 rounds. Like at the end of the 4th round, he should have stopped that in the corner. He should have said, "Listen, this isn't your night. It is obviously not your night. You don't look good. You're not reacting to any punches well. And this is a kid who's got an iron jaw. Figueroa used to be able to tee up on his head at the smaller weights. He looked skinny and flabby, so he took the weight off not well. So it looked like he took the weight off with a sauna instead of working it, which I'm not going to put that on because he said he had a good camp. But his father should have stopped it sooner. He took way too many more punches than he needed. Also wanted to say about Brendan Lee. I've been saying all along, like, this kid is fucking, like, Brendan Lee has been the PBC's, like you see a lot of kids say, well, counter to Bob Arum's fucking, because they always do the, against promotions, the Puerto Rican kid who's doing well. And I'm like, wait a minute, man, you can't compare the two because Bob's been progressively matching this kid tougher and tougher, and he's still only 19 years old. Last night we saw Brendan Lee, a product of soft touches creates bad habits. And he chased this kid around because they've selectively matched this kid with guys usually dragged up like this dude last night was a career 135 pounder. He only fought one other time at 140. He's not known as a puncher to begin with. So when you constantly fight guys that aren't heavy punchers, you're physically dominant over them, and you just create bad habits. And I was watching him last time, like, look at, like, the Philly, the fucking shoulder down, doing the shoulder roll. Like, Floyd didn't do that in the first 2 or 3 rounds. He would do that once he had people hurt. or once he had people, he knew their conditioning. He knew he had them out conditioned, or he knew what was coming back wasn't what it was in the first part of the fight. That's when he would start doing more of the shoulder roll. Like, he'd still have his hands up in the first few rounds, but he was coming in with his shoulders down like Tiafimo in the first 2 rounds, and boom. And he wasn't just, that wasn't off balance, right? That wasn't off balance. That wasn't his feet crossed. That wasn't fucking a flash knockdown. That motherfucker was rocked badly. If that fucking knockdown would have happened early in the round, he would have been stopped. Very good chance he would have been stopped. And I just want to say it's the fucking, that, and he had the same thing, the last dude, Colbert, who had his run canceled, had that OnlyFans. I don't know why the PBC fucking fighters are promoting that degenerate fucking website, but it seems like everybody who gets it on their pants pays for it. Just wanted to say that. Okay, Gonzalo, go, brother.
Yeah, and Jimmy, and the fighters that are getting these assignments. For example, the fight took place, I think, in San Diego, California, the Pachanga Casino. And that's right across the border from Tijuana. I'm not absolute, but I'm pretty sure that they took that tomato can that fucking fought Brandon Lee was probably sparring fighters from Mexico. So you know that these West Coast, that's like the fucking that's a cradle of boxing right there, right? And when you get that training and you got these long layouts in between, like I don't know, I think that's what you said with Brandon Lee. These soft touches when you face even the fucking tomato cans that face all these supposedly like these good fighters, man, they fucking brought it. They got knocked out in the end, but there's something about the energy last night, and we gotta mention there was a lot of fights, man. Did you watch the Alidolfo Delgado versus El Pollo Aguilar, the 8-rounder, man, with the 2 prospects that were undefeated? I think that was fight of the year candidate. Oh, that was like there was many good fights, but it could be one of the fight of the year candidates. It was a good fight, man. That was a really good fight.
They robbed Akameoff again. I thought he beat that kid. I thought he won. He outlanded him by like 40 punches.
That's what people
just
are
like
saying.
they did against Barrios.
Yeah.
They burnt him
Holy
again.
shit! I was trying to be on the Discord because I was on the White Rapid channel. Then I was trying to like keep 2 talents alive because I've been watching the Joshua fight. I was running out of battery. There were so many fucking fights going on that my fucking devices were running out of fucking juice. And because the fights were that good, I was like, holy shit! I'm fucking juggling here, man. This is a great night of boxing, and everybody was bringing it, dude. Like I even said, like even the tomato cans. They got it hard too. They're testing these dudes because a lot of fighters like Nico Ali they're being set up to be better than what they really are, man. You put that dude with the fucking Mexican Serape, like, oh yeah, he's gonna fight a fucking Mexican, and he gets a knockout because that Mexican really ain't that good. But it's a spoiler alert because the fight that preceded that one was a fucking war between 2 fucking Mexican prospects, like the one that I mentioned, Pollo Aguilar versus Lindolfo Delgado. So you ain't conning the public.
I want to give a shout out to recognize the mate.
You can see the fucking cheese dick smile and fucking Joseph Vittori and the fucking pampas like with Mark Kriegel is crossing his hands and fucking Andre Ward and fucking Timothy Brandy. You can tell, man, they're fucking company, man, and you can see it right through their fucking stupid faces.
Fatality.
That's true. Recognize the Matrix. Shout out to Recognize the Matrix in the chat. Hope you're doing well. Hope you can join us soon.
Recognize.
Yeah. What else I was gonna say? Hergovich.
Just want to say fucking shout out to Recognize. Sorry.
Yeah, he's very busy right now, but hopefully he joins us soon. Zhang versus Hergovich. What do you guys think about that fight? The boogeyman.
I was already saying what I was saying. That wasn't a boogeyman performance. I myself think, because I was literally watching it. I went on some bootleg stream. I'm sorry to say, but that last round, yeah, he got Zhang very well, but I think Zhang was up around, dude. He dropped the guy in the first round. Literally dropped him. They went back to it, got him with a good right hook. He dropped down. The dude was getting pieced up, man. It seemed that Zhang, just if he had a little bit more stamina, he would have had it. Because they robbed him. I guess because Zhang is old. You know, he's an old prospect. So like they're like, well, what's gonna be more of a better chance of a career path and how we can keep him on our network? Well, they go to Hergovich. You know, he's younger and he can have a bigger following over time. But you know, Derek Chisora kind of exposed that it's not that people are ducking Hergovich. The dude just brings no money and no fans, and I really do believe that Because when I think about seeing him fighting, I'm like, what makes him really terrifying and dangerous? You know?
Yeah, he didn't look. I mean, if you look at this fight, you'd be like, "Who the fuck is this guy? Is this who everybody's talking about? Hergovich?" He looked terrible.
Exactly. Like,
a lot of people have
made
given
fun
up
of
on him now.
Ortiz and stuff, but like, I'm not gonna lie, bro. When I looked at Ortiz, his fights, I'm like, okay, this guy got something. You know, he's too high risk. The dude's a great boxer. He got good power. He moves around the ring. I look at Hergovich, I'm like, I mean, he's good, I guess, but I'm like, is he really top 10 quality? He like a good gatekeeper or something, but let's be real. I think if Areola was still young enough, Chris Areola, or was still young enough, man, I think he'll beat Hergovich. No joke.
Maybe it was about
But what about
performance.
This is a
what about?
historically bad heavy.
I mean, yeah.
Go Gonzalo.
Go ahead, Jimmy. Go no, go ahead, go ahead.
I was going to say it's in my opinion, it's a historically bad heavyweight division right now. That's all. Go Gonzalo.
But what about Zilly Zang? What about Big Bang Zilly Zang Zang? Is he a fucking giant? Because now he's drinking 5 gallons of water. When he fought that cruiserweight, he looked bad like 1 or 2 fights ago. But the dude's fucking, he could take punches, and when you take punches and you're still there, how do you deal with a guy like that? Is he a monster? In my opinion, he's a big dude. He's like a fucking giant, or not? And he got a pop.
Yeah,
But he's an older man too. I don't
he-
really know what to say about him.
He
'cause
looked
he's also
tired,
old.
man. He looked tired.
He's pretty solid.
Yeah, but he looked tired. He looked slow. He looked like he didn't want to be there. And then there were some instances during the fight where he's like turning his back, and he just, what are you doing? Are you focused? Are you in the fight?
last round? He fucking ran, dude. That was crazy. He did some get my ring my action. Like he didn't turn around for like the last 10 seconds and
Yeah.
ran off. I was like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
I don't know.
That
It could have
definitely
been
gonna
one of
give us
those.
to the judges. If you get robbed, that's on you, bro. You fucking ran.
Yeah, it could have been a bad night. Yeah, but
You would think after Oscar De La Hoya. Oh, I'm sorry, Bucho. I can barely hear you.
no,
Sorry,
I just said it
talked
could have
over
been
you.
a bad night. That's it. It could have been a bad night.
What's that, Bucho? What'd
Can
you
you guys
say?
hear me? Hello, hello, hello,
Yeah.
hello. Yeah, I
It
said
was
it
a
could have
bad
been a
what?
bad night. Yo, can you guys hear me? For Hergovich.
You're drowning out. Disconnect your headphones and talk into the speaker.
Yeah, it was kind of low. I think he's talking about Hergovich.
No, I can't. I have a mic. I'm on a computer. I can't.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Now, Herbert, do you think Hergovich had a bad night? Hey, why is he fucking dipping his head down, Jamie? Like, he's not paying attention. I know a lot of times fighters, they're not looking when they're punching. They would like to look at the mechanics of your footwork. Like, Barrero spoke about it. And I've said it myself. People don't believe me. When you punch, sometimes you can be looking through your peripheral and you're watching other things as you punch. But when this dude was getting fucking hit, he looked like disheveled, like he was losing the eye on the ball, where he was like staring into like, where is this fucking guy's head at? That Hergovich. He was peering down, and it could be something that I was like, what's going on? And I'm just questioning because I really don't know.
Well, hey, Gonzalo, when you say he having a bad night, I wouldn't say it's a bad night. This is the first time the guy actually fighting a legit ranked top 15 guy. Is it really a bad night, or it just shows who he really is placed? You know, where he really is. It's his first actual challenge of a guy, and Zhang himself is not really. I mean, I think he's pretty good. He's he's a solid guy. He's probably like a solid C rank dude. But who really was he? You know, when you really think about it.
Yeah, I mean, we have to
honest
wait
with-
and see. We have to wait in his next fight if he was a bad night or, like Logical Man said. I mean, he stepped up and he didn't look good.
Well, we talked about it on the Discord, Logical Man. This is one of those things that where if we go down that fucking rabbit, who was he? Did he fight? Who did this guy fight? And who was he? And who was that? It's a never ending. We talked about Buchenes. Fucking all of a sudden, Lipinets is looking like $1,000.
You got
Like $1 million.
goddamn monster.
So does that mean that we got to place these fighters to wait? There's a lot of nuances, weight categories, styles, and you know, I could keep going on.
Well, when he first got caught, when he first went up, somebody talked to me. They're going up. It was 3 years ago to 147. They said, "What the fuck is this dude doing?"
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
he is maxed out at 140, and he did all right at 140. And I mean, he was PBC fodder. They used him for Boots Ennis to get knocked out by Boots Ennis. I mean, and then it was Mickey Garcia, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, it was Mickey
That's
Garcia.
140,
Yeah, they just dragged his ass up. They used him as fodder, and you know, he likes to fight a lot, so he did it. But Yeah, no, he looked pretty good. He's going to be a tough out for anybody at 140. You're going to have to pack a lunch. You know what I mean?
Well,
He's always going to
I don't
bring it
know.
out of you, but he's just limited.
Jimmy, I gotta kind of disagree with saying dragging them up. I think the guy, like a lot of these guys, are moving. Like I'd be like, who the fuck are these guys? Why are these guys moving up in weight? Like you were just getting murdered in that weight class. This class is even more dangerous. I just think they're just moving around to see where they can fit in and actually have a chance to become a top contender or a champion. So I think
it was the money. It was the money. He was offered more money. No, it was because he said after each loss that this isn't his weight. He made a point to say it after every loss. Well, I'm really a 140 fighter. Then why the fuck are you staying there? He's staying there because he's saying it because they were offering him more money than he was being offered at 140. And so instead of being smart, saying, "Nah, man, that ain't my weight," they get fucking greedy. You know, he already had a loss. I mean, but was anybody even remote? It wasn't a question when Boots was going to stop him. I mean, if he was going to stop him, it was just a question of when. And who wants to even be involved in those fights?
Well, he's that kind of good. Wait, who's the person that said the heavyweight is in a bad state right now? I'm going to explain to you why heavyweight is still amazingly good right now. Who said that?
Jimmy.
Me.
And some caller.
Oh, Jimmy. Okay, Jimmy. When you said that the heavyweight is terrible right now, it's kind of not. It's still in a great state because we still have Joy Joyce. We still have even Dillian White even though he got flushed by Fury, we still got him around. We got Bocoli. We got Helenius. We got Sanchez. Well, he's born as fuck. So
these are all fighters. These are all fighters. There's just not a lot of good fighters.
Yeah. Well, I
know what I mean?
I can't say that, bro, because we got some great matchups still. Like we can have some great fights. Like
let me ask you, what do you think Helenius or everybody other than maybe 2 or 3 heavyweights would do against any top 10 heavyweight of the 80s and 90s? Besides getting knocked the fuck out,
you can't do that, bro. You can't do that.
That's what I meant. But that was my comparison. I was saying in the era, today's era is a weak era. This is a very weak heavyweights. Like Hervich, I didn't even watch the fight last night. You know why? Because why bother? Because I know who he is. I know where he's going to go.
It's not as bad as the Klitschko era, but that shit was absolutely horrible. It was nothing but guys either on their last legs or, you know, at the retirement home. Literally at the retirement home. Like they was like, hey man, you want to get out of here? You know, you can go see some stuff, see the world. And they, you know, we got Klitschko. And okay. You know, so I'm like, that shit was terrible. Like that was horrible. It's way better now than I say. Was it at the 80s and 90s or something like that? Well, Klitschko era, 90s.
Hold on. Hold on.
No, Klitschko was 2000s.
Yeah.
Oh, 2000. I'm sorry, man. 2000.
Can I just?
Jimmy, what do you think about that? Was that a snide comment or in reference to Mike Tyson, where before the fight happened, they said, "Oh, AJ's his hero is a Mike Tyson." His what do you call it? His role model. But after he said, "Oh, I'm not a small guy like Mike Tyson. I'm a big dude." You know, it's kind of like he was throwing dirt to Mike Tyson. Or not?
Well, I think it was maybe. Again, this is my opinion. I have nothing else to base it on, but I think it was just more frustration of I can't believe I lost to this little guy again. You know what I mean? Because I mean, listen, this basically what he was doing. He was using the excuse I was too big and strong. So it's kind of a fucked up thing in a fight. Yeah, man, I would have killed him if I was smaller and weaker.
And you know what he said about Andy Ruiz, like when he fought him the second time, that they should make a special category like the super heavyweights for Andy Ruiz because he's so fucking big and fat. At 6 feet, 5 foot fucking 12, that he thought it was unfair. So it's not the first time he's mentioning things along these lines that it's kind of weird. He's definitely a smart dude.
What I can't say about AJ, bro, is that like I think what he meant by that is just people been bitching at him. Like me personally, I got a different mentality. This dude's worth millions of dollars. These losers that speaking will never be even. Their family is worth trash compared to AJ. AJ is worth more than these guys. If the world ever end, there'll be a plane for AJ, and these losers will be screaming, "Hey, let me on, please!" And they'll be leading you after the plane. You know, but he's upset that people are telling him, "Oh man, you sucked. You got whooped. You lost. Water was gonna beat your ass." People talking shit to him. So the dude was upset, like, "Hey, I'm a big guy. Like, you know, I tried." You know, AJ's even saying the motherfucker was running from me. He was saying all this stuff because he's trying his best to explain how he lost. But dude, he should be like, "Hey, look, I lost. He was a better man. I'm still one of the big guys. I collected all the belts. Yeah, he beat me."
He said that last night. He said he was running from me because he was in front of him all night. He was right there. He was missing.
logical man.
Joshua was missing a lot.
Jamie, is that very forgivable behavior? Like Oliver McCall crying and fucking Riddick Bowe throwing the belts in the fucking garbage. And
I don't like that he
It's up there.
belts.
It's up
Mike
there.
Tyson biting the other dude's ears to when you have a mental. They're like the heavyweights are like cartoon characters. Can they be forgiven since nobody can fucking do what they do? Right?
Well,
I don't know.
I can say I don't like the fact that he fucking threw the belts because you know why? They weren't his belts to throw. They were Usyk's to begin with. Why the fuck were you even touching them, dude?
Did you guys see when people? I didn't like the comments when people were saying like, "Oh, this is the real AJ. It's the real AJ," and it kind of pissed me off. And I was thinking like when people say that shit is the real AJ. Nah, I think the real AJ was a nice guy. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to be a humbling dude. I think he should come back and be like, "Hey, fuck all you freaking assholes. You know, y'all want me to be a piece of? You want me to be how I was when I was pissed off? That's how I'm gonna be. Because what you want, I'm gonna give it to you. You know what I'm saying? Because people were like really talking shit about the dude. This is the real him. This is he was acting before. I know the guy just had a mental breakdown. The dude was just frustrated and pissed off that little Usyk.
Bucho played a video earlier. Bucho played a video earlier of him. He posted something on his Instagram page this morning. He kind of woke up and had one of those "oh fuck, what did I say" moments.
Yeah.
I mean, he got caught up in the moment. He got caught up in the moment, obviously. He had a mental breakdown. And him throwing the belts is like he's trying to tell himself, I didn't even want the belts, which he obviously did. But it's a way to cope.
That's right.
With the situation. That's how I interpret it. Yeah, you go ahead.
I agree, man. And I'm thinking, Bucho, this is what it is. He thought he got into the Zen state of mind, I believe. Even Robert Garcia tried to separate. Well, we did the work. Now it's up to him. But in the sense that the dude's always like been kind of like an overachiever, and really he thought I'm preparing, and if I really want it, I can get it.
Yeah.
And I'm just that type of person. I'm that good. I'm that confident in myself. But I think in the end of the day, it's not just about confidence. In this sport, it can be cruel too, man. Right? Because you got other fighters that are bringing it too, man. It's like the fucking World Cup, man. There's tough teams in the fucking CONMEBOL. Everybody's a fucking beast. You're not always going to fucking win. I don't care if you're fucking Brazil. Right or wrong?
Right. That's a good point. I think he really believed he was gonna win the fight. I mean, all boxers believe in themselves, but I think when they lose, they kind of like come back to reality and understand. You know what? This guy is better than me. I was actually fighting a better boxer. I knew it all along. But with AJ, fucking Christ! I mean, I think he didn't disconnect himself from that type of mentality that you come into the fight. After the fight, you're supposed to shut that off. You're supposed to be humble and accept the outcome. This guy was still in that mode where like, no, I can't fucking lose. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Well, and if Eddie Hearn's worried about him putting pressure on himself, right? And like, why would you have signed him to that deal before that fight? Like, I guess maybe he was a free agent. They wanted to show commitment, but in a way that puts more pressure on a guy. Like, now I got to, got to look good because they just paid me a lot of money. I don't know if he really needed it then. But maybe they did it because they were afraid about him going and getting signed by somebody else.
Yes, could be. Or him losing, then obviously they're going to offer, like they won't offer the same amount as they offered before the loss, the second loss, right? So, I mean, who knows? Yeah, that's an additional pressure, Jimmy. But there's always been pressure with AJ. The whole of the United Kingdom was behind him in a way. I mean, Sky Sports was always, like, for the longest of time, promoting this guy as the king of the heavyweight division and all that. So, that, it brings you pressure. Since he won that gold medal, there was pressure on the guy, right?
Well, Steve Kim said, I thought Steve Kim had a great quote. Is he an all-time great boxer, or is he an all-time great moneymaker? Meaning, like, does he? You know what I mean? Is that
moneymaker?
What he was? At the end of the day, right? Was that his thing?
Yeah,
he was more.
exactly.
He was greater at making money and pulling in big crowds than he actually was a boxer.
Everything played.
No, I couldn't agree with that.
Well, listen. I mean, he did have some
posed
good
a question.
defenses.
It was posed as a question.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the answer is he was a good moneymaker and he was a decent champion. in a
decent.
in
Fuck
a
no,
week
dude's
in
a
a
good
week
champion, bro.
hold
He's got
on,
all the
in a
belts.
weak heavyweight division. Come on, logical man. It's not the best of the. It's not a great division. I think you said it right.
Huh?
Did you say it wasn't a great heavyweight division?
It wasn't a great. You said no.
Yeah.
It was. It was. I say it's solid. It's a solid division right now. I wouldn't say it's weak because, like weak was the Klitschko era. Like I was saying, I wouldn't say weak, man. We still got some musical chairs type stuff that can happen. You know.
Oh,
The Klitschko era was like 12 years or 14 years total. So
for
it
example,
was stronger in the beginning, then it faded away. Yes, definitely.
like Evander Holyfield was there in attendance. I don't think his son Evan Holyfield fought, but he was there. I don't know what's his curiosity. I mean, he obviously want to get around. I mean, who doesn't? But he was there in fucking what is that place that the fight took place in fucking Saudi Arabia? And that I'm thinking about the city. But anyhow, dude, he's watching a guy like him that was a cruiserweight that now became a heavyweight champion. He's probably interested to see if fucking Usyk is gonna outshine him in the sense of a legacy. Do you think fucking Holyfield, if he were to face fucking Usyk in a fucking dream match, who would win? If you say that divisions are not that good now, do you think Holyfield is a good fighter in the sense that he could beat the heavyweight champion from today and Alexander Usyk?
It's really not it's almost kind of not fair to compare because there was no drug testing back then. There was, but there wasn't. It was a joke. And Holyfield was, I mean, his best friend in the whole world was Mr. Olympia, Lee Haney. I mean, you could literally see the pictures every 6 months of him. His teeth widened, his elbow joint got bigger, all side effects of growth hormone. He was taking tons, like professional bodybuilder levels worth of
Jimmy.
steroids.
All right,
like
but everybody
huge amounts.
Yeah, that's a good.
So
point.
it's kind of hard.
All right, but yeah, we're gonna. It's very difficult to determine the state of this current heavyweight division. But let me just read a comment here, a super chat from Rafael Garza. Thank you for your contribution. He says, remind the LDBC panelist that said that Klitschko was reigning in a bad era, that Deontay Wilder dogged Klitschko. I don't know who said that, but yeah. I mean, Wilder did dog Klitschko, and Klitschko, you can, I mean, if you want to criticize Klitschko, you got to criticize that dog. But anyways, let's not get back to that. We're going to get lost into the whole Wilder debate. AJ, let's go back to...
I only brought that up, Jamie Bucho, because when I watched Mike Tyson versus Holyfield, Mike Tyson was coming for that ass, dude. He was laying it on fucking Holyfield, and Holyfield was able to weather the storm. And we saw the first fucking 9 rounds of this fight to where they were kind of pity patting. It was strategical. So what's missing? What was missing in today's era? And even especially if you account for the Giants, we're talking about the Giants and fucking the super heavyweights. Now those guys will beat the guys from the fucking past. The little guy is always going to get problems to the big guy. And I think even the smaller guy gives problems to the smaller guy in heavyweight terms. That's more of a fucking pick'em because there's fucking I'll cost you to the win. You're trading punches. Versus Usyk or Mike Tyson versus Usyk and so forth. But what I'm fucking talking about, what was missing from this fight? That maybe Butch was right. It's a weak heavyweight division, or is it that much tougher? That obviously boxing is evolving. That it was strategical to if you give an inch, you take away an inch. That if you make a mistake, you're gonna fucking pay for it. That somehow, maybe these guys are better than the guys from the past. I don't know, man. But something was missing for the first fucking 9 rounds. And these weren't heavyweight fucking punches being thrown. They weren't. You tell me fucking Usyk beats up one of them monsters from the fucking 1980s or from the 90s?
Hey,
I don't know, man.
Usyk versus Chris Bird.
There you go. It's a small man versus a small man. We're all coming to the win, right?
I have Usyk, but still, it would be an interesting fight. I mean, there's Lennox Lewis, obviously, Klitschko. Somebody mentioned in the chat Ike Beabuchi. He's like, Ike Beabuchi beats all of these guys. Neil Simpson says, I mean, I don't know.
If you think Usyk is going to beat Lennox Lewis, I'm sorry. I don't give a fuck what you're talking about. That's not happening.
Yeah, I mean, we got to...
There's two different levels to this. That's not happening, man.
We got to see Usyk versus Fury. Gotta see that fight.
Yes.
It has to happen.
Yes.
He's going to answer a lot of questions. Usyk's already in the Hall of Fame, in my opinion. But he has to fight fucking Fury. This fight has to happen for the sake of fucking boxing, man. And Fury, everybody has to go on Tyson Fury's Twitter and tell him, you gotta fight fucking Usyk. I don't think you have to tell Usyk to fight Fury because I think he would take that fight at any time. He wants that fight. Fury, on the other hand, is talking about money, man.
It's a young division, cruiserweight, but it can be argued that Usyk's the greatest cruiserweight of all time.
Yes, I mean, I didn't really follow Holyfield's cruiserweight career, to be honest. I was too young anyway, so.
Well, his name really popped when he he went up to heavyweight. That's when his real fame, because when he fought Tyson, especially, and he beat him the first time. And actually, I was one of the only person who I knew who was betting against Tyson, because by then I already knew his mental state was, because the connection of Castamato and his people and the connection down in Lowell was big. Real big, and he talked to those guys all the time, and they knew that his mind wasn't going to be right without those guys because they controlled him. They kept him focused, and with Kevin Rooney gone, everybody was gone by then. So he only had the fucking yes.
Hey, remember Orlin Norris? Orlin Norris and Bobby Ches. Orlin Norris was Terry Norris' brother. Remember him?
Oh yeah,
I remember him.
Terrible Norris.
Yeah, his brother Orlin. He was a cruiserweight.
Yeah, Bobby Cheese, whatever. He became. He was too short.
Bobby Cheese. No, he was a commentator too. And he got
he was a commentator with Showtime. I remember. But then the cruiserweight division is pretty young, right? I don't know when it started. In the 80s, late 80s, I believe.
I believe so. Yeah, they used to only. Yeah, they added a bunch of super middleweight, cruiserweight. Okay. Back then, you used to have to go up when you changed divisions. It meant something because you weren't going up 3-4 pounds. You went up 10, 12 pounds at a whack.
Yeah, but from light heavyweight to heavyweight, then it became crazy.
Same day weigh-in too. So that's it was a different world. 15 rounds. Yeah, it was a tougher business back then, all around.
Recognize the Matrix in the chat says Usyk versus Tyson Fury is the biggest fight in boxing. It is. Actually, you think about it.
It is.
It is.
It is.
Everybody's talking about Crawford and Spence, but that fight, it's losing.
Let me explain something too. This Crawford and Spence, bozo stuff. That fight is not a $20 million fight. It's really ridiculous. I don't know why they're demanding $10 million each. It is not a $20 million fight at all. I say they should go ahead. If it's reality, they should get $7 million each and top off the pay-per-view. That's it. It shouldn't be no more than that. That's both their highest paydays, and it's realistic.
Yep. What do you think, Jimmy?
Salute to my Bucho. Salute to my brother. Recognize the Matrix, man. Salute, man.
Yeah.
You're doing well.
Recognize, even though he's crazy for saying that Klitschko era same as now. Salute to you, brother. But still.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. My brother, recognize the Matrix.
Y'all was loving this stuff, man.
Yeah, listen, I mean, the heavyweight division, you can say whatever you want about it, but we have two guys right now that are very skilled and who have a chance of fighting for the undisputed heavyweight championship. They have to fight. Again, for the sake of fucking boxing. They have to get this fight done.
For real, please. We'll get this shit over with.
All right, guys. Maybe I should end the show. It's raining pretty hard here, and there's thunder and shit. So I don't want my computer.
What's gonna happen? You'll knock your internet off.
Well, not only that, it burn my computer off. I need to unplug the computer and everything. I don't want to yeah.
Why? What? You get struck by lightning a lot there, like your apartments or something?
No, but it can. I'm always. I play it safe, man. If I lose the computer here and there.
You do the old wise tale, like my grandma. Shut the lights off. Shut the TV off.
No, I unplug
what you talking about? It's cable, you dizzy old broad.
Nah, not that. But I do unplug my.
Do not plug in your computer to the socket while wearing your microphones. Because you can fucking kill yourself.
All right. Now I'm even more scared now.
Bucho got the old antenna phone, so if he gets too close to the window, he might get struck by lightning.
No, he's running out of power. But just to remind you, every time you're fucking running the show and you got your cable connected to the socket, you can die. But
anyways, guys. L Dog is in the chat. L Dog's in the
invite.
chat, man. Hergovic looked like garbage. Dude needs to man up, says L Dog. L Dog was a big Croatian sensation fan there. But yeah, listen, we'll see what happens with Hergovic, man. Maybe it was a bad night, maybe not. All right, guys.
But what about the Big Bang Zilly Zang Zang? He was pretty good, no? He's a big motherfucker.
I don't know. To be honest, he doesn't even look that good either, man. He's old and he's slow as fuck.
He looks like a fucking Bond villain.
Yeah, Jimmy.
He look like a big ass head henchman for one of Penguin guys for Batman or something like that.
Yeah, right, exactly. Like
he's like a fucking henchman.
He's a big ass henchman.
Especially with
the costume stuff, bro. I just think that he finally fought a ranked guy that was ranked in the top 15, and then top 20. My bad, I said top 15, top 20. And it just showed where he was at, man. I think if Hercules come back and fight like a guy like Otto Walling or maybe Frank Sanchez, watch and see he's gonna lose, bro. I'm telling you right now.
All right,
you're hearing it from me right now.
All right, you're on the record. All right, guys, have a good night. Take care. All
right, man.
Evening.
Take care.
Thanks for the invite again.
All right, everybody in the chat, thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time. Take care. All right.
Disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man. I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead. Shoot.
He just killed a little fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. Yeah, because you got nothing.
Lomito!
You got nothing.
I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.